Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the Widowmaker, the F-104 Starfighter, the G variant, in this case the Taiwanese one, and that sits in the Chinese tech tree, battle rating 10.7. It really gets punished for having those AIM-9Js instead of the 4 AIM-9B FGW2 like the German one that sits at battle rating 10.0. And that was a really unlucky missile. I guess I was a bit too close, and I want to start with this scene because it is quite symptomatic of the experience that I have with this thing. There is actually method to the madness why I put a talisman on this thing to grind out large portions of the Chinese tech tree. And so there is not just one phantom in the air and behind me, but multiple ones, and it gets significantly more fun in just a moment. So that's another missile I dodge, and yeah, what can you do? I am just a flying brick. I am much like a viewer on Validus stream said it. It's like a long-range missile that brings multiple short-range missiles into the play. Another missile, 20mm Gatling fire behind me. There is always this factor that you have to count on or count with, and that is greed. That's beautiful. That's so cool. And then both overshoot and just quickly miss me. Spooled up the missile when I saw it happening. Sadly, it locked on the wrong one, but 20mm then does the trick. The problem is there is another one, and I just dodged another missile from a phantom that I didn't see coming in, and I tried to follow him. Then I see that there is another one. I have to continue the upwards loop, and this is not what I wanted to do. I'm bleeding I'm bleeding speed, and it's all too late. There is just so much that you can do. That could be the title of this segment here, but let's talk real here. What is this thing? I already made a video on it, and how do I think you should play it. Now, I'm not a chat pro, but even with my years of experience, I can immediately tell you that this is a plane that I personally don't like. At this battle rating, I'd rather play a Mirage, or I would play a Draken. MiG-21 BIS is currently the meta together with the Phantoms because, you know, they are very versatile. They have more and better missiles and radar missiles and you name it, and you have nearly nothing. So how do you play this thing? Well, you are not a frontline jet. You are very opportunistic in that sense that you try to avoid the initial engagement and then fly low on the ground to the side and then fly upwards behind the enemy and then dive onto them and let missiles rain from above. And then you can do things, but there are many jets that you can do this tactic with. If you would climb initially, you have a problem because of all the radar missiles that getting thrown towards you from the phantoms on the enemy team all the time, because yeah, you're fighting them all the time. And this is a beautiful example. The Mirage again is tunnel visioning, and come on, where are you? There is another missile. The rolling is a good trick according to Anakin, and then a MiG-21 BIS just gets the Mirage that was tunnel visioning on me. That's beautiful. So again, let's talk about why I decided to put a talisman on this thing and how I got this in the first place. To be honest, I wouldn't really touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. You can do things with it, but I personally don't consider it to be fun. Yet it is more reliable and efficient to have this thing, let's say for a test drive, because I'm a content creator, and then, you know, put a talisman on it and grind large portions of the Chinese tech tree. I can't stand the Shenyang F5. It's not a bad plane, but over and over dealing with up tiers where you have not the best missiles and the enemy has all the missiles, and your bad armament, you know, the 23mm and the 37s, very often they spark and little ammo count, slow muzzle velocity. It's not a bad plane, but it's just more annoying than bringing in the results. That's my standpoint. But to get to this plane, the F-104G starfighter, aka the Widowmaker, that's the issue for normal people. And then this thing without the missiles, the stock grind at 10.7, absolutely no. The fun thing is, the A7D sits a full battle rating lower at 9.7 and has lower repair costs of roughly 7,000 civil lines, where you looking at nearly 3 times that, 19,000 civil lines. And I think that, you know, if it is because of the missiles, the AIM-9J, the A7D doesn't have the disadvantages of bad maneuverability. It's pretty good actually in that role, and it has 2 AIM-9Js together with the same Gatling, just with 1,000 rounds instead of 750, and it has built-in flares and bigger bomb load and an air start, and sits a full battle rating lower. You know, if you are losing the comparison in enjoyment versus what I consider to be a ground attacker, full battle rating lower, that shows how this plane is misplaced versus MiG-21 Buses and the Phantoms that I just mentioned. So this is a bit punishing. Again, the German starfighter sits at battle rating 10.0 because instead of the 4 AIM-9Js that you have here in the Taiwanese variant, in the German F-104G, which is the same plane, it has 4 AIM-9B FGW2s. So you kind of see where this is a bit confusing for me. Again, I'm not a pro jet player, but I just have enough experience to tell you that something's off here, really, big time. Then I want to show you this battle, because this just tells you why I am not a pro player. The hard-coded fact that your lock-on always prefers teammates over enemies, yeah, that's the thing. But thankfully the 20mm does the trick and I lost control. Derp, should have better invested in the expert qualification. But it doesn't really matter. So again, I just cut out the early part with salt climbing and then zoom climbing and then diving on the enemy for that one quick kill. And that's just a pain because it is so unmaneuverable, even with flaps, even at the best speed. It's just a brick and there is no way around it. If you think about the Draken, if you think about the Mirage, the MiG-21s, especially the BIS variant, hell, even the Phantoms, then you kind of see where this is going. And finally we saw off the wing of the Phantom. That was kill number 2 if I'm not mistaken. Missiles out on the F3H and booyah. And I overtook here my teammate with a very special name. The thing is, I have 2 missiles left and now we have to point out the fuel. This thing with the afterburner runs through fuel like you wouldn't believe. It's really insane. But because you are so much higher in battle rating, artificially so in my opinion, you need to run the afterburner all the time, and then your fuel consumption is tripled, I guess, or quadrupled even. It's really ridiculous. That was an ambitious missile. Impatient trigger finger, I would say. Anyway, I'm looping around and think to myself, well, I'm getting a bit low on fuel here and I only have 1 missile remaining. But I cannot really let the fight die down here. I need to support my teammate, my, artificially acquired squad mate, I would say, is in a 2 versus 1. I need to help him out. That's the plan. Watching the F1 behind me. And as predicted, a missile's coming in. We dodge it. Again, Anakin said that rolling is a good idea. And then which F4C to go for? Spooling up the missile. The upper one is busy. And missiles out. Dodging the upper. There we go. 4 kills. I'm really happy. I'm really happy about this result. And there is another Phantom. And again, he's slinging the missiles all over the place. Now I have a problem. I have 40 seconds of fuel, and there is another missile. He's closing the distance. I'm losing speed because of the evasive action, and how many more missiles does this guy have, right? And my teammate in the MiG-21 is far away, but there is a MiG-19, so can I bleed the speed? Can I make him maneuver so that the MiG-19 catches up? That's the question. And again, negative rudder, dodging, rolling, weaving. Come on. Godlike MiG-19 style. And I'm almost out of fuel, but doesn't matter because I have enough speed and energy to just glide in. In fact, I have to use the air brake and then use the braking chute or parachute, braking parachute, whatever. Anyway, you remember my squad mate, the green MiG-21? Yeah, apparently he isn't happy with his result, and he blames it on me. And you know how he expresses that? Like that. Oh, top tier. Never change. And yeah, that was a little quick journey into the top tier world of chat gameplay, where the maps are hilariously small and the teammates are salty. And that's it for me today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like, give it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.